Hey, howdy ho, Lions fans. Welcome to the Detroit Lions podcast post-game show FTP special. I am your dashing host, Chris, and with me is my good friend and the most gorgeous he's ever been, co-host, Andy Sandman, Lions fan, win it all, baby. Fuck the Seahawks and the Packers. How you doing, brother?
Yes. I'm good. I'm good. Normally I hate Sunday night games because whether we win or lose, it's like late. It kind of sucks. This is different. We just crushed Aaron Rodgers, maybe permanently. His last NFL game may have been a loss to the Lions, it was basically a playoff game for them. Insane. What are you doing over
brother?
there?
This was the game. Look, I don't even care. I don't want to say I don't care about the Seahawks, but that stunk. That stunk. But that's what happens when you start a season 1-6. That's the way it is. But to ship Aaron Rodgers potentially off into retirement on a sled at the end of the Lions' stick as the Lions ascend through the NFC North. You know the Vikings ain't got it next year, brother. You know there is one team that's going to be the favorite to win the NFC North next year. And if Aaron Rodgers retires, it ain't going to be the Green Bay Packers, is it? Oh my God,
this team is so different.
So special.
I've never seen a Lions team like this in my entire life. This Lions team is the most competent football team I've ever witnessed in the city of Detroit.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
It's hard to imagine how bad this roster still is when you look at it top to bottom and what they did with that roster and what they accomplished. Literal insanity.
Brothers, sisters, and everybody in between, we got you covered today. We're going to talk about today's game. We're going to give you our perspective. We're going to have Coach Campbell in the post-game presser. Any players, I'm figuring Jamal's going to be on because the Barry Sanders record, what he played, the role he played in the game today, being a former Packer, I imagine he's going to win. We'll have him, if he's on, we'll have every player that's on in the post-game show. We're going to have our little roundtable discussion. We'll be taking your calls. I don't give a shit if it's midnight. It's party time. We beat the Packers and we ruined their season.
Time.
That's right, baby. We got a great show lined up, and I can't wait to kick this off. Sandman, are you ready to go, my brother?
We haven't started. Let's do it.
All right. Let's do it.
Let's kick this off and break it down.
All right. We'll start with Jameson. I'm very excited about Jameson Williams because we've got the Jameson going. Jameson Hennessy. We would be in the playoffs if we drafted Kenneth Walker and Christian Watson instead of J-Mo. Yeah, but you know what? If we, I got to go here now already. If we drafted Malik Willis, this would have been a train wreck of a season. Can you imagine if we drafted Malik and we were 1-6? What would have happened to this team the rest of the season? Woo, Malik Truthers, get out. Yeah, you know what? I think for the long run, though, J-Mo's the right guy. I think Christian Watson had drop problems. He had drop problems early this season, and we're okay. Okay, let's keep going. We got Jameson. Thank you so much for the super chat, brother. I'll disagree with you on that. Christian Watson, I think, is a problem. That was an implosion in Lambeau. You couldn't buy this feeling, so I'm tipping you and said, thank you, brother. Slew Shark and D.
The money's got to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Gotta go somewhere. We should go to Chris, yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's get into this. We got a lot to talk about. First off, we not only beat the Green Bay Packers today, we not only went 5-1 in the division today, we beat some absolutely terrible referees. And Sandman, I just kept ticking it by and letting it go on Twitter. I saw you doing the same. There was some pretty egregious freaking no calls. It's like the selective calling that the refs did today that were really a case of them putting their thumb on the scale. But the one thing I think I can say in retrospect is good teams play through bad refs, period. And we did it.
Jared Goff, and I don't remember what week this was, came out and he said, good teams make their own luck. And that's the most truthful statement that has been said by Jared Goff here in the city of Detroit. He is 100% correct. The refs can do whatever they want. If you're a good team with good players and a good scheme and a good plan, none of that matters. None of it. We can ignore the 17 missed holding calls. We can ignore some bad pass interference, stuff. We can ignore all sorts of things because in the end, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to keep fighting. We're not going to get a bad call and then all of a sudden guys are slinking around out on the field. That's not Dan Campbell's team. That's not our team.
No. It's not who we are. That's not who we are.
not us as fans, right?
No, hell no.
Wait, have we learned as fans how to win yet?
Goddamn
are we
right.
there?
I think we are.
Chat,
I think
need
we
you
are.
to tell me. Are you ready to be winners? Or
are you ready
or were you still nervous that the Packers were going to intercept the ball or return a fumble for a touchdown? Where were we at?
I was doing my breathing exercises that I learned in Lamaze when I went with my wife. I have to say, this game, my stomach was in my throat before it started. I was just tense. And as you sit here as a fan, you talk about how worked up and tense and all that you are watching a game. How must it feel to be one of those guys down on the field at 24 years old, 23 years old, 22 years old, jumping out on the field and playing a game this big? And it means so much for the franchise, to the fans, to everybody, and really announcing that you've arrived as a team finally. That was I can't imagine being one of those guys and being able to show up like they did in that situation and deliver. And boy, did they do that. Did they do it ever? These late night shows, these primetime games, brother, I like them, but I got to tell you, the 1 p.m. games are a heck of a lot more comfy.
I'm telling you what, I've got a appointment tomorrow morning at 6:30, and I'll be making the slow lights tonight after this.
Oh yeah.
So I might just not sleep. I don't know.
Yep.
Who cares? Lions won.
Yeah.
To me, they're division champs. The Vikings are frauds.
For 100%.
Lions went 5-1 in the division.
Yeah, they swept the Packers, they swept the Bears, and they were so close to taking the Vikings out twice. I mean, oh my God. Think about this. At the beginning of the season, this was a 6-win team. We are 9-8, ladies and gentlemen. We are a 9-8 team. I won my bet for Hutch's over 8.5 sacks. I won my bet for the Lions with a winning record. I won my bet for the Lions and the 8 Amon-Ra and all. I got a couple of bets I won. I won my money because of this team. I need the coach of the year. I want the coach of the year. Can we meme that into reality, people? Ladies and gentlemen, we need that. Oh. Sorry.
Ken Francis with the super chat.
Yeah.
Time for that tat, Sandman. Wonder Twins activate. Look at this beautiful skin. This skin can't handle tattoos. It just can't. It'd be like painting over the Mona Lisa. You can't. I love Dan Campbell, and I would get a Campbell tattoo if my skin wasn't the Mona Lisa. That's the problem we have.
So there's no tats over there, Sandman? No, you have an unsullied body. I'm too.
Unsullied. No piercings. No tats.
No, same.
I'm the perfect specimen.
I know that. What would you do? Would you double up if I sullied my body? Would you sully yours, or you're completely out on tats or what?
I don't know.
We could find something good. I've wanted one. I haven't found one that I like. Is the problem?
Ken already kind of called dibs with the Wonder Twins. He was going to get Campbell's ass, and I was going to get Campbell's face.
Oh,
and combined, we were going to meet up somewhere. And
They rarely look good. Oh, God.
That's the problem. You'd have to get like a Dan Campbell emoji or something.
Yeah. Um, so you're saying that Peterson would be the coach of the year, Brandon, rather than Dan Campbell. I'm all in on Dan Campbell because number one, I got money on it. I'm not a liar. But number two, he took a 3-win team and took them to 9-8. And that's a huge jump for a team.
And the roster difference, massive.
Yeah.
Massive. When you look at the Jaguars, they have the number 1 overall pick 2 years in a row. But the second number 1 overall pick was caused by the most incompetent head coach since Matt Patricia.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
And
who wouldn't want to follow Urban frickin' Meyer as a coach? Because you're an automatic superstar, right?
Oh, for sure. You already have a quarterback. You've got decent weapons. You know, your defense is pretty good. You just drafted, a defensive end, number 1 overall. To me, if Dan Campbell doesn't win Coach of the Year, I might freak out a little bit. I don't know. This roster is still not that good. We were playing Mike Hughes and Amani out there today. Are like number 4 and number 5 cornerbacks.
Yep.
Played a significant amount of time tonight.
Yeah.
It's insane. We were getting production out of Isaiah Buggs. Who? Nobody knew who Isaiah Buggs was. He comes in here and he starts disrupting things.
It's my man.
We've got
with
late round draft
for
picks
shoulder.
making, just insane.
Yeah.
Now I can't remember his name. The other 94, Antonio, or no, that's not right. Anyway, he comes in. He's making plays.
I don't have it in front of me.
It's all coaching. Every time we talked about what the Lions needed, when Patricia came in and everybody was like, this is the guy because he's going to make our scheme and our players better. He just is. He's going to put people in the right position to succeed. That never happens. It just doesn't. It's so hard to do in the NFL. And somehow Dan Campbell and this staff has found a way to get plus, grades out of almost everybody. People that have no business, that if they were on the Lions team, they might not be anywhere.
Yep.
And they won 9 games with that.
Yeah. Hutchinson, defensive rookie of the year. Does he deserve it?
I don't know how you don't. Sauce Gardner was great this year, but it's hard to quantify cornerback play without interceptions, without a ton of pass breakups, without a bunch of big-time plays, and Sauce just didn't have enough of those. Hutchinson's entire rookie year was big-time plays.
Yeah.
What is he at now? 9.5 sacks, 3 interceptions, 2 fumble recoveries, tons of pressures.
They didn't throw it at Sauce, right? I mean, and that's fine. If you're that good, they don't throw it to you, and that's fine. You got to think about that as a quarterback, but you just didn't make plays. I get it. They didn't throw it at you, so you didn't make plays, but you didn't show up on the ESPN highlights reel. I didn't show you that. I don't see you there, and that's great play. If your name's not hurt, not mentioned, but I'm sorry, Hutchinson was out there. How many INTs does Sauce have? Does anybody know?
I think it's still 2. So
if you're a defensive end with 3, I mean,
the biggest argument for me is that, and I'll have to check on this, or somebody in chat might be able to pull it up. I think Hutchinson is in the top 10 most snaps for a defensive lineman in the NFL. He played like 88% of the Lions snaps on defense. That's insane for a rookie. That's insane. That's incredible conditioning. That doesn't happen.
Yep.
It just doesn't happen. I think there's not enough accolades being thrown towards that.
Yeah.
And his availability. And the fact that he played hard, snap 1 to snap 75.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. He's playing hard. He's doing his thing. He never slows down. There's so many reasons why he deserves Defensive Rookie of the Year.
So many reasons. Let me really quick get into a couple of the super chats here, and thank you all for hitting us up on the super chat. We appreciate you supporting us that way. We love you. Sandman, can you explain why it was so important to decline that penalty at the end? It didn't affect the clock, so I really didn't understand.
Yes. So you decline that penalty, and I immediately, as soon as they called it, I thought, no, you have to decline. You have to decline, because if you accept that penalty, the clock stays where it is, at 2:16 or whatever it was, and then you have a first down, but now you only have 3 plays to get the job done. If you decline, the Lions know they're going to get 1 yard, or they have to believe in themselves that they're going to get 1 yard.
Yep.
When you decline, now you have 4 plays at a minimum. So you have 1 extra play because you're going to get that first down. And maybe you don't get it on the first try. Maybe you get it on the second try. Now you have 5 plays.
Yeah.
And when we're talking about running clock out, the more plays you have, the better off you are. So taking that first down really wouldn't have helped them at all. I guarantee that there are tons of coaches in this league that would have accepted that and taken the first down and been pumped to have been closer for their field goal. Not Dan Campbell. Not Dan Campbell.
Not Big Dan. All right, we got Andy. You said the evil man's name and kept smiling. FTP, quoting the Lions Twitter feed. And I want to tell everybody in the chat right now, we're not going to look at your chats or your comments unless you throw an FTP in there first. So you might as well just pay your bill, get your FTP in that chat right now. From Maloney.
I ate a huge 7-layer dip on Saturday, and it expunged all of the evil that was remaining inside me. I got it all out. I was kind of happy it was a late night game today because this morning was rough. But I got the 7-layer dip out of the way.
I stole your picture of a dip and tweeted it immediately. I apologize for that. So someone had to get that out there. All right, let's see. We got a couple of these coming in. Let's also get to Maloney 6380. Sweet Hutch, Defensive Rookie of the Year. So happy to see Karen cry. I hope that was us exiting the Packers and showing Aaron Rodgers the door. Can you imagine? Look, he did the whole "I own you" to Chicago. He's all up in Minnesota's head. He never really, other than making us mad and his stupid, catching too many people on the field and his just smug face and the failed those kinds of things. He never got smack talky with us. And when he started to, you can't lose to a team like that. Well, that team swept your ass and beat you down and sent you into retirement.
I knew we were going to win this game weeks ago when the Packers started kind of going on a run, and the post-game reporter came up and said, you've got a bunch of tough games coming up. You're playing a bunch of teams that are, have winning records. And he looked at her and he said, not all of them. One of them is tied. Talking about the Lions.
Yep.
It was 500.
Yep.
We were already in his head. He was already thinking about us.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's so great.
How nice is that? Kirby Joseph is going to mount Aaron Rodgers' head on his wall.
Kirby Joseph already mounted Aaron Rodgers twice this year, so might as well throw his head on the wall. Kane Marco 202. Can't believe we got 9 wins on this roster. FTP, darn right, brother. This was great. This is great coaching. This is great coaching and player development. And I don't want to take anything away from the guys in the field, but Detroit Lions fans have not seen this kind of coaching. I don't know since when. I love Jim Schwartz and his staff. And Caldwell brought what he brought, and that was fine. But I don't know that we've ever seen coaching like this on this team. And I'm including Wayne Fontes. And you guys know how much I love Wayne Fontes. We've had him on the show a million times. We talk to him regularly. I'm including him. His staff and his coaches were not nearly what this coaching staff is in Detroit. This is something really, really special. Speaking of special, I want you to go on the NFL app and go listen to the audio, the radio of the Seahawks game, because I had to listen to that for a little bit earlier today, and then you'll understand why Dan Miller is the best in the business. They are absolutely horrible. Okay, we're holding out for the Campbell press conference. As soon as that comes on, we will have Dan Campbell on here live. Let's see. We got to get through these super chats. Hopeful Lions fan, I have to imagine they take a DB in round 1. Do you have any favorites? I think Joey Porter or Cam Smith would be great Lions. Hopeful Lions fan, we are going to go so deep on the draft. We've got 5 people. Oh, wait, we got Dan on right now. Hold on, let's get Dan in here. Hold up, Dan. Got this. Give me a second.
Almost.
Man, can you hear it? You can't hear it, can you?
No. I can hear your beautiful voice.
I'll have it. Why does this not work today? Can you tell me how much you love Dan Campbell while I get this to work?
Yeah, I love Dan Campbell a lot. Let's get to some of these super chats, I suppose. Let's see. Chris, you called it a changing of the guard happened tonight. Tampa, Detroit Lion. I agree.
Oh, yeah.
I agree. This is the game that no other coach that we've had in recent memory has won. Caldwell never won games like this. Schwartz never won games like this. Patricia never even got to games like this. This is a big deal. With extra pickles. With the super chat, who won that game? I just saw Rodgers walk off the field for 5 minutes. Is it more important for the media that he walks off the field than a Detroit win? I complained to Chris about this, but then I thought to myself, a Hall of Fame quarterback is retiring. I agree that they probably could have gave the Lions win a little bit more stuff. Yeah. But if it's true that he's retiring, you kind of have to, he wasn't going to walk off like Calvin Johnson where nobody knew he was going to retire. I think on the TV they mentioned that Jameson Williams asked him for his jersey. He said, I think I'm going to keep it. So it's kind of telling. Loretto, how mad were you when the rookie got called for an Aaron Rodgers special offsides? Not that angry. I think James Houston will get better, but it's hard to be angry. He gets everybody.
Told him this morning
what Aaron Rodgers does.
I knew that they're going to check. We're all going to check. I just didn't want them, if they could keep from it, to just watch every play of it because of that. Now, we had to go out to pregame warm-up while they were in overtime and all those, but I think you got to be careful getting invested in it emotionally because it could drain. But basically, we found out, we found out in pregame warm-up or coming off, and I'm telling you, we were unfazed. We knew what we were coming in here for, and it was to gain some respect and show what we're capable of, no matter what happened. And we knew the only way to do that is to win. And so our guys were locked in. They were unaffected by that because we knew what the objective was.
Say about missing the first one that day.
No, look, we have to, everything next year, it's a new year, and we'll get into that when it comes. I love the foundation of this team. I love the core of this team. That's the youth, and that's the veterans that we have, the guys that we have re-signed here, the guys that we plan on re-signing. But the guys that are here are people that fit us. But you got to start all over again. Next year, you got to start all over. You got to build that camaraderie, you got to build that chemistry. It's got to all start over. But I do like where we're at. And look, Green Bay will be reloaded next year. They'll be ready to go. Chicago will be better. Minnesota will be better. I don't know. They'll be competitive, whatever they are. And so I don't want to say passing the torch. I just know this. I know we're in play. I know we have a team that can compete, and we're only going to get better. And that's
the torch,
that's what you want. You want to know you got a chance. Am I talking loud? Because I've got this toboggan on.
It's been a ride for you. Just how proud were you of him?
Jamal? Yeah, he got one of the game balls.
Get the Barry Sanders record.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Get 1,000 yards.
Yep.
Help you guys win against his former team. How happy are you for him?
Everybody's happy for Jamal. And because I can tell you this, offensively, all those guys, the fact that he got 1,000 yards and he beat Barry's record or surpassed it means a lot to that offensive line, the tight end, everybody involved in that run game. Hell, the receivers have a hand in it. But everybody to a man they're excited for Jamal. I mean, they are because he's the ultimate team guy. He's an energy guy. If he's not practicing, you got to sit him. You have to force him to sit down because he won't say a word. He'll go out there every day, even if he's probably shouldn't be practicing, and that's the way he's wired, and he's one of the most unselfish players that I've ever been around, and he is all about it for the team, but he brings some energy to us, and I tell you what, man, he in some critical moments today, once again, he showed up, and he's one of the most consistent players we have. I've said that from day one. You can always bank on the production you're going to get from him. You know exactly what he's going to do. He'll be where he's supposed to be when he's supposed to be there.
This was the first chance for some people to play in this kind of setting. What did you learn about how she's?
Yeah, I don't know if I learned anything. Let's put it this way. Honestly, it verified what I thought, and it wasn't too big for them. And they went out there and played ball. They went out there and I mean, what you love is you could feel our guys having fun, you know, and they were playing ball and you know, certainly we're playing at an NFL level, but they look like kids again. They're out there and they're enjoying every minute of it, and man, that's what you want. You don't want, you know, when it's a hustle or it's the last game, and it's just you know, why am I out here? Why am I? And no, man, it's about improving. It's about competing. It'll always be about competing, and so no, it was good to see them go out and do what they've done every week. Like, hey, man, it doesn't matter what stage we're on, we're going to go out and produce, and so it's good for those guys. Yes. It does. You have. I don't care what kind of team you are, or what you think you are, or want to be. Like, you have to be able to overcome errors, mistakes that'll come up. Now, you don't want to. You know, certainly the better teams don't make those, but yet you'll always get a few. And the teams that can overcome those, and they can bounce back, and they can convert, or they can get off the field on defense, those are usually pretty good teams. And we are. Really, the back half of the season, we found a way to overcome those. You know, we get in some tough third downs early in the year. We were able to overcome them, you know. And those were big because we couldn't do those. But no, you know, it says a lot.
And the way you guys closed it out, running the ball, going for it on fourth down, you know, a little bit of a trick play, almost like purposeful, like stamping. That's what you guys are about right from the very end. Is that the way you would want to think?
No, I don't think that's what it was about. Like, this is, you know, we're going to just do this for. It was, we really, look, we like to play. We're always going to have some things in there that are a little bit maybe out of the norm is the way to say it. But I don't think that was, hey, let's call this because we're going to put a stamp on this. We just knew the play would work. I think that's the best way to say it. And we were getting into the hands of somebody, two hands that we trusted. One was Saint, and then Saint to Swift. And then the last play there, the fourth down, was let's let Goff finish this out for us. Let's let him win this game, you know. So we put the big hat on him, and we had a feeling what they would be in, and we believe in Goff. He's been the guy that's played lights out for the back half of this season, really all season. He just had, you know, some things, some bumps like all of us did early in the year, but we wanted to let's put the onus on him, man. Let's let him win this for us, and he did that. I mean, you talk about playing in rhythm, and it was huge and sharp. The whole deal was, man, that's the way you want it to end. It was perfect, you know. Yeah, I mean, I look, that's certainly, I don't want to hear that anymore, the same old line. You know, that's what all this is about. I mean, there's so many things, and it all comes with winning, but look, yeah, this is a part of, man, I wanted to be part of building a brand new brand, you know, and so I like that, and that's the point. But I also know you want to do that, man, you really got to get in the dance. You got to get in the tournament, and then you got to make some waves in the tournament. So that's the next step. We've improved every year. We improved last year. That was a special group, even though we only won 3 games. And we kept a lot of those guys. And guess what? We got 9 wins this season. And we were 5-1 in the division. We got better. And next year we'll be better. And but next year's about, you know, man, let's get it in the dance, and then let's see what we can do when we get in there. He's played great, and he's really a perfect fit for what we do and what we ask. I mean, he's been able to I think the true sign of a pro is somebody that can take the coaching. He can look at himself in the mirror. He knows where he needs to improve. He listens to what recommendations you have for him to get better. And I mean, he goes at it now. He doesn't shy from it. He doesn't get sensitive. He just wants to be good. And that's our quarterback, you know. So that's pretty good stuff. Yep.
All right, Coach.
That's my quarterback.
That's my coach. Ooh, boy. Man, that was awesome. That was just, my God, that was awesome. All right, we got Coach. Coach is on. We'll keep monitoring for anybody else. We'll get ready to start taking some calls here shortly. We're just rolling over midnight right now, Sandman. Just really quick, how do you react to what you could hear of Coach Campbell on the podium? He was there for a long time. He gave us the full Campbell today.
I think that he answered a few questions. I think there's no way that this team is taking a quarterback, even if they fall to number 6. I think they believe in Goff, and I think at this point you have to. Goff played lights out.
Yep.
He's like a good early next season. He has the opportunity to break the longest streak of passes thrown without an interception. I think he's like 45 passes away. He's like literally a game and a half away from breaking that record.
Yep.
Which is insane. Jared Goff has so many ups and downs. It's hard, but yeah, he closed this season out so good. It's hard. You can't.
From week 10 to week 18, so you're talking 8 weeks, he was the number 1 quarterback in the league. In the games when we went 1-6, we were, a top 3 offense throughout that period of time. We are in the playoffs. We're in the playoffs had we had the defensive players we needed, and the defense set up at the beginning of the season. I'm seeing a cornerback. I see a cornerback in our future. I see probably a defensive tackle in our future, and that's just in the first round of the draft. I see the Lions putting some pieces in place that are going to improve this defense a great deal this year in this offseason. I see us picking up some players. My thing is the backup quarterback is going to get signed off of the wire. We're going to take a veteran, and we'll probably late round pick a quarterback for number 3. But I just see this team packing it on the defense, because if they had that luxury of packing a defense on this year, we're in the playoffs. We're sitting where Dallas is, and potentially, we're gunning it out with Minnesota, because we had the offense to do it. In 2 games, we didn't have the offense to really win the game, and beyond that, those were all winnable games if we could stop the other team. Oh man!
No, I mean 100%. And I think you were reading a super chat before Coach came on about what cornerbacks we're going to take. I mean, this is a great cornerback class. If you need a cornerback, this is a great year to need one.
Yep.
And the Lions need potentially 2.
Yep.
There's the kid from Oregon who is just insane. I would love to have him. He's huge. I'm also a huge Devin Witherspoon fan from Illinois. He plays the cornerback position the exact way that Aaron Glenn and Dan Campbell want our cornerbacks to play. If you follow me on Twitter, I was complaining about Mike Hughes because Mike Hughes is bad in run support. They needed him to fill gaps a couple times, and he was late to the gap, or you could tell that he was nervous about filling the gap. In coverage, Mike Hughes is kind of okay.
Oh, let me get Jared Goff. We got him. We got him on the podium now.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels good, but it's kind of what we expect. It's a game on the line. You want it in your hands, and we've come a long way in 2 years, and I think this was a nice culmination of that. And we get the win, feels good, and but yeah, finishing it that way. Loved the call. Knew that was going to be the call, and it was a great play.
Offense is no longer slander.
Pre-game. Great. Yeah, there was 2 ways to go about it. They lose, all right, it goes up to 100, and it's crazy energy, and they win, and then you kind of go, okay, like, let it all hang out. We got nothing to lose now, and so yeah, there's benefits to both. Obviously, the downside is we don't get to go to the playoffs now, but you know, being able to finish 9-8 and have some positivity towards the end of the season like we've had is good. It's a special group we have. It's a really special group, and I'm proud to be a part of it. Sorry.
This team might not play with an edge if Seattle lost.
Huh.
What do you say to?
Who said that? Come on. Yeah, no, I don't think that was ever the concern for us. We've been playing with an edge since we were 1-6, and felt, you know, everyone said our season was over, and we traded TJ, and everyone wrote that, you know, we're nailing it in, and I love TJ. He's going to do fantastic in Minnesota, but you know, there's a lot of things said throughout the year that turned out to be not true.
Emotional side of the season and ended it the way you did. How much did the season test you personally overall?
Yeah, a lot. I think, you know, there's valleys and there's peaks, and we hit both of them, you know, at different times of the year. And I think, yeah, early on, certainly it's hard. It's really hard. Coming off of 3-13, starting off 1-6, you feel like you can't find any answers, and all of a sudden something pops, and you get a little confidence. You start rolling, and things start going in your direction, and people start playing well, and yeah, it really all comes together. And yeah, it's been a good ride for us. Again, you know, we'd love to be in the playoffs, of course. There's no consolation, but to be 9-8, have a winning record, and not get in, it's tough to argue with that after starting 1-6.
Goff can't win in the cold. Remember that, Sandman.
Yeah, it'd be great. You know, it's not entirely up to me, but I've enjoyed my time here. It's been awesome, and I hope it continues. But we'll see where everything goes.
There's a 30% changeover on the roster here. Obviously, we have a different team next year. But having gone through what you guys did last month, how important is that, playing meaningful games, finishing off the way you did for the 4 guys that would be your young guys? How important is this last month?
Yeah, I think we just showed a lot of people, you know, who we are, and now next year every team will be different in our division. But we just beat Minnesota a couple weeks ago, and they're the top team in our division by record, and we just beat Green Bay at their place, and they're, you know, us and them were the second best team by record. We went 5-1 in the division. We lost to Minnesota early on. I think people know we're here, and hopefully here for a long time. Yeah, you know, I've always known my capabilities and what I can contribute to a team, but I think this year more than ever, I had to very, you know, focus so much on myself, and not in a selfish way, but I had to you know, make sure I was doing my job and not trying to carry a load that is impossible to carry at certain times, and that was the challenge, but it served me well, and I've learned from it and gotten so much better as a player and as a person, and being able to learn from that's been extremely beneficial for me.
Outside for making the playoffs, obviously. You mentioned how great way to finish. But with the whole knocking Aaron Rodgers out, winning in Lambeau Field, where they go.
Yeah, I don't know. I could say a lot right now. I'm not gonna, but I got a lot of respect for him. He's a hell of a player, and in my opinion, the best of all time. And you know, if he's here or whatever, I don't know. But you know, we were doubted for a long time this year, and you know, a lot of people say some things, and you know, I know he was never trying to say anything, you know, mean or disrespectful. I don't think that's in his personality, but you know, I think we may be a little bit sensitive to that stuff, and we're ready to come in here and win a game. You sure think so?
Oh gosh.
Yeah, you know, it's for the fans, sure, and it's satisfying for us, sure, just because they're into the division. I think more than anything, though, it's us getting the win and being able to finish on a high note, and sure, we get to kick them out, and that's a, you know, nice side part of it. But it's winning this game on the road in Lambeau. We're a dome team, you know, we can't play in cold weather, you know, the whole gamut, and we come in here and we do it. Yeah, it's been great. It's been part of what I've tried to do every game, and yeah, I've been able to hold on to that for quite a while. And some of it's certainly luck, and some of it, is me doing a good job. And I've been on the wrong side of a lot of those in my career, so it's seems like it's balancing out now, and it's been a good little streak.
Damn straight.
Cool, thank you.
All right, thank you, Jared Goff.
Jared
Thank
Goff.
you, Jared Goff. What a season! What a season! Look, if no one sensible thought this team was making the playoffs this year, and that's just where everything started. And after that, we got a chance to make the playoffs, and everyone got really ramped up. I got ramped up too, but we missed it. But if we were going to miss the playoffs, this was the best freaking way to miss the playoffs. And Goff up there, so classy. Like, he knows what Rodgers said. You can't lose to a team like that. He knows what Rodgers said, all those things. And he didn't take the easy shots. It would have been easy to ball drag Aaron Rodgers. And I plan on it. As this show goes on, I plan on pulling out the full sack, give him the drag. Because he deserves it. And I love that kind of stuff. But Aaron Rodgers, the Detroit Lions have
You've had enough of that shit.
Darn right. All right. I'm going to pause. I'm going to pause here for a moment. Sandman, what do you got? What do you got after Goff? What do you got after everything we've seen so far?
I want to talk about Aaron Glenn. I don't know if Aaron Glenn is a good defensive coordinator all the time. But when he's good, he's very good. There was a couple play calls this game that were risky, but matched almost perfectly to what needed to happen for the Lions to win. You know, that zero pressure that they did on the 3rd and 10 that caused the interception.
Yep.
You know, like that's a ballsy call, and you have to have that in your playbook. You have to plan for scenario football to have that in your playbook. The second Hutch interception, or the third Hutch interception, where against, I can't even think about it right now, where he's lined up in the wide 32. Like, that's a crazy why is that in the playbook? That's in the playbook because of Aaron Glenn and situational football.
Mm-hmm.
I think Aaron Glenn, over the course of the year, got better at calling plays. And I think that's what the Lions needed. I think they really just needed to do it.
Him walking down the sideline.
Yeah. It's so good. But Aaron Glenn, we know he's a good teacher because we've been told by everybody that deals with Aaron Glenn, players, other coaches, Dan Campbell, that he's an incredible teacher.
Yeah.
And I just think his play calling wasn't great, but he really turned it up, you know, at the latter half of the season. And I'm excited to see what he does with more talent when we're not trying to protect guys on the field from themselves. And when we can fully trust, when the defense can fully trust each other, you know, the way that they need to be efficient. I think it's going to be exciting to watch.
All right, I'm getting requests. I'm going to try on the fly here. I want to see if I can pull out some. They want me to pull up the Green Bay Packers presser. Let me see if I can get it. Okay, here we go. We're going to bring in Aaron and let him talk. Come on, where are we? Up?
I could take some time and say, hell no, man, I need to get back out there and go on another run. But I'll have to see what it feels like once I'm away from it.
Is the emotion and pain greater to have 3 straight seasons end here in a championship game, a playoff game, and then a play-in game against teams that play in a dome or warm weather on your field?
I mean, it all hurts. Doesn't matter who you're losing to or where it's at. We've won a lot of big games, and we've lost some heartbreakers as well. So, you know, it doesn't really matter where it's at at all. It all doesn't feel good.
Aaron, what's supposed to happen on the interception? I mean, you were you were a kid standing on the sideline when Brett threw an
I
interception
don't
that
see
wasn't
the
all that different in
FTPs
that
in the
2007
chat. What's
NFC
going on?
Championship game. It looks like a downfield 50-50 ball, but I'm guessing that's not what it's supposed to be. So what's supposed to happen compared to what did?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't exactly see. I felt like the safety was in the middle of the field and was trying to work the other side. Bobby, or whoever's running the through route, got knocked off, and felt like I was about to get rocked, and just tried to lay one up to Christian and didn't get enough on it. But those
Kirby
last
got
three
it.
calls definitely sting a little bit. Still got to execute.
What do you think would have to happen this offseason? How much for you guys to be,
Guys,
you
I'm
know, not
going
just
away
fringe of playoffs, but to be
from Rodgers to
Alright.
Jamal. Sorry.
It all just, my emotions finally just fell out just because I know I was doing it for my dad and my great-grandfather. And I know that they looking down on me and just proud of me right now. So I'm just grateful to be able to be successful for them and for myself too, because I worked so hard for this. This year 6, you know what I mean? So
He's full pimping there, bro.
now I
mean,
think
come
I
on.
just look at all the years, all the off season, all the running hills, throwing up in the off season, you know, OTAs, games, you know, even last year, just how that season was, just fighting through adversity. And I see what happens when you keep fighting through adversity. Blessings happen at the end of the road. So I'm just blessed, grateful, you know, and I'm just happy.
What does it say about this team, the way you guys finishing out in the middle of the playoff game with the group?
Yeah.
Didn't seem to affect you guys at all.
Well, for the record, for me, I didn't know what was happening. I was just ready to play a game. I said, don't tell me nothing. Just let me play. But you know, I'm just grateful for my teammates, for them to know, and then still come out here and just go out there and play like that is just great. And it shows how much potential and how much greatness we have in us for next year. And you know, you wish we could keep going off of this, you know, great game that we had, but just got to get ready for next year. So, but I'm just grateful for this team. They played tremendous, played hard. We had our ups and downs, like start 1-6, then go 8-2. 8-2, yeah. So like, not like, yeah, you told me that one. But I'm just grateful for this team. Never faltered, never flinched, and just kept moving forward and just chopping down that tree, man. So I'm just grateful to be on this team.
There's a list that has you at the top.
And the lens audio sucks.
As a running back, specifically, I've seen him play for the Lions, but just as a running back in general,
Oh, it's grateful. It's it just really just, I feel like all my hard work is finally showing now, you know. And like I said, like all season working and just preparing for this season. And the crazy part is, like I write goals for myself every year, and this year I've hit a lot of them. And it's just like, you just be like, wow, you make those at the beginning of OTAs and not even for the season, but it's just like I look at my goal list now and check, and I got one on there that I don't even, you know, the rushing record is a check that I don't even have on my goal list. So I'm just blessed for it. It makes me even more hungry. Like, I'm not satisfied. I think that's my curse. I'm just never satisfied because I just feel like I could always be better. So I still got a lot more to go. That's all.
you got any relationship with Barry at all? Like, what was that like? Was you watching him growing up or anything?
Oh, I was a Walter Payton man. But I like Barry Sanders too. I just like, because, you know, he a different bag to me. That boy had thick eyes, you know, all that stuff. So it's just like, it was tremendous to watch him run the ball and just how he got east and west and north, like, quick. And he was just a strong runner. Mm-hmm.
What does it mean to you, to that locker room, to change the way people look at it?
I don't care. But at the same time, like, you're going to have to stop disrespecting us like that. You know what I mean? Like I said, I don't watch TV. I really don't. And so,
Looks like the feed
and
died,
then
Chris.
DC was the one who showed all the clips from people,
YouTube.
you know, picking the Packers over us. And because it's a playoff game, or they think the Packers going to, everybody picked the Packers. Nobody trusted in us. So that's how I like it, though. I like people to underestimate us and think that we can't do it. And then we come out here and we show people. So I just love changing people's hearts.
Not on subscriptions, that's what it is.
You used the term "we" quite a few times. Your contract situation. How important is it for you to be back and continue building and being part of this?
I love to. It's a great building block. I love Ben. I love DC. I love Deuce. I love all the coaches because they just a great bunch of guys who get shit. Ooh, my bad. Get stuff done. Ugh, I'm sorry. But I would love to be back on this team just because of our players and just how everybody is really, when you go through adversity, you see who's really for the team. And everybody was for the team when we was 1-6. You know what I mean? Everybody was still down for the team, all for one, ready to go out there and do their job when we was 1-6. And so that right there, I feel like when you at your lowest, you show what you see what people's true colors are. You see what their true heart is and where they at. And then I'm just grateful for this team because then we went on a tear from there. So it just shows everybody's loyalty. It shows what type of personality they have. And I'm just grateful to be around a good group of guys, and hopefully I can be back.
Check your phone, Andy. Andy, check your text. Check your text.
Yeah. Oh, for me, I think I called Jared Mr. Hulk. I called him Hulk before, and now the more I think about it, I see it. He's more Bruce Banner, and when we practicing, and well, not even practicing, but when we in the locker room and all that. But when he get on the field, I tell you, he turned into a little Hulk, little tall, slender Hulk. But he's great. I love JG just because he believes in everybody. He's a great teammate. He knows when it's time to put the hat on somebody else to make a play. He does nothing but to give encouragement, and he does nothing but shows love, and we give it back to him. You know what I mean? And he just a competitor, and he just want to go out there and ball, and he did that. So I'm just proud of the scrutiny and everybody talking bad about him all the time. For him to block that out and still go out there and ball is a great trait for him. And I feel like he's just a great player, a great person, and he doesn't let the outside noise stop him from being great. For me, I was only trying to get 8. Yeah, and I beat that. Yeah, by a lot. So I think it's real bright. I just think we finished off on a good note, and I think even though we didn't make playoffs and we won, we still, like I said, we're not satisfied. We still hungry, and we know what we need to do for next year, and that's don't start 1-6, and don't put ourselves in that hole, and just how we ended the season is how we need to start the season next year. So.
Thank you guys.
Gucci. I don't even know which one's my phone. Oh, never mind. Got it.
Come on, man.
All right. Andy is going to give me a savior moment here. 60 seconds. I'll be right back. Andy, take it away. Let's talk about Jamal. And then we'll take your calls right after.
We all know why Chris has to take some time off if you were listening to the audio, I think. No, Jamal Williams has to come back. I don't know how they don't re-sign Jamal Williams. I can't imagine he's going to be that expensive. He got a ton of touchdowns this year, but most of them were 1 and 2 yarders. He didn't make a bunch of large touchdown runs. But I think the hardest thing for a coaching staff year to year is to maintain your identity as a team. I think that you need to keep leadership in place, and I think Jamal is a big portion of the leadership here. I think him and Jared Goff and weird guys like Josh Woods, Tracy Walker probably falls into that category. You just have to keep guys like that around to keep your culture the way that you need to keep it. And that's hard when you start signing a bunch of rookies. You hope that you get guys in the building that follow the lead. You want to get your Anzalonis in free agency who buy in and who, become a big part of your team. Your Malcolm Rodriguez's, your Hutches, all guys that kind of do that, but you can't let a guy like Jamal walk. And we kind of saw that with with the 2015 or the 2016 Lions when they let Nick Fairley walk. And Calvin Johnson came out after the fact, and Ndamukong Suh came out after the fact. A bunch of guys came out, and they said, that's when we knew that this team wasn't trying to win anymore, that they weren't going to do whatever they could to win. And so when you have guys like Jamal, you have to bring him back. He should be a lifer. He should retire here. If he gets a slightly overpaid, I don't know if it matters. I think you just have to. So yeah, Anzalone will definitely be back.
Sometimes you pay for more than just what's on the field. And I think Jamal can bring you, when he hits his wall, it's going to be kind of like Brockers. And Brockers was still helpful to this team, even when he wasn't on the field this year. Thank you for chipping in there, Sandman. We'll have to take that. Normally,
you'll have to watch it after the fact. It was gold.
I'm sure it was.
Pure gold.
We'll make it a clip. Usually I don't drink during the game, and then I start when the post game starts, but it was late. Ah, man. Okay. Let's go. Let's do this. You ready to take some calls, brother? Get some people on the show?
Let's do it.
You haven't.
I hope Aaron Rodgers calls him.
Oh my God, yes. That would be ideal. All right, let's start off. Hey, caller, what's your name and how much you've had to drink? Kind of turn it down in the background if you would too, please. Please, a little confusion. Take a moment. Caller, come with me. All right, we'll swap out. Hey, caller, what's your name and how much have you had to drink? Hello?
Oh, double whammy.
Okay, I got this. I see what's happening.
Save us, Chris.
I can do this. Where is that? Where's that part?
Where's the IT team when you need them?
Right here. Hey, caller. Hey, caller. How you doing?
Hey, Chris. How's it going, man?
Doing all right.
Hey.
Can you hear Andy?
Hey, Andy Sandman. Hey, how's it going, man?
Oh, it's going. It's going. It's technically Monday now. Monday podcast.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man. No, this is Joey. Nick's in bed, but, dude, this was my favorite win of all time. I'm sorry. Hey, I'm so excited right now. I had 2 cocktails.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Were they mixed in a paint bucket?
Thank you, Andy.
God dang.
Oh,
I'm dying over here.
No. It was exciting. What was your favorite part of the game, caller?
My favorite part was the Lambeau fans feeling what I felt when I was 13 years old at the Silverdome, Sterling Sharp catching that pass in the end zone where I was sitting, the very last one. I'm so happy right now. I'm just so happy right now.
Yeah.
What's the German word for that, Chris? Schadenfreude?
Schadenfreude, mein Freund.
Schadenfreude. Yeah. No, I think there's a lot of that.
You guys have no idea how happy I am. Nick is upstairs and in bed, but I am
still in the garage?
Happy. Yeah. Yes. I am so happy that the Lions won tonight. I'm just happy. I just wanted to share it with you guys.
I love it, brother.
Oh yeah, brother.
I could not be more happy for how this season went and how it ended. And on that, we're gonna move on. But thank you for calling in and sharing your happiness. I wish you the very,
You're the
very best,
greatest.
brother.
Give our love to Nick.
Right on, man.
All right. All right, let's get another one in here.
I need more to drink. I gotta get on his level, my man.
Yeah.
My man, you know, like
It's Sunday night. I gotta work tomorrow. Darn it. Hey, caller, what's your name? How much have you had to drink?
My name is Greg. I've had not a single ounce to drink. I'm from Connecticut. Last time I spoke to you, it was a heartbreak, classic Lions, whatever. But fucking A, this is just beautiful. This is pure joy. 8-2 finish. The fucking dogs just played like dogs. And man, it was just, I'm 56. I've had you know, the heartache. It's just, it's so nice to see a core being built right, coached right, played right. Just, it's fucking awesome,
brother. The pendulum swings, as they say.
Time to fucking swing for this one. Let me tell you, I'm 56. I've got one playoff victory in my lifetime.
Yep.
And when that was, and it's yeah, you know, it's just I'm excited for what's ahead next year with draft picks. You got to think players are going to want to come play for us, and Campbell. I hope we don't lose Ben Johnson and the other coaches, but man, Ben certainly did a great job this year. You got to believe. And we'll get to unleash JMO a little bit more next year, and you know, just see these young kids grow and come together, and
it's beautiful.
It is.
So this is. I mean, this is. I think this is the common kind of sense, like coming through this is just the absolute. It's almost a release. It's like the post-coital moment here after the season. But I have to ask, you said you've been doing this for 56 years. Can you remember ever ending a season where we are now, with the sense that you have now, the feeling about this team, and the hope and belief in what next year is going to bring?
Not really. I mean, it's always it's always a play where the season, you know, and Eddie Murray missed 42-yard field goal against the Niners, fucking however many years ago that was. Something negative, something usually just not just positive. And it's, you know, it feels like, you know, in this world we live in where as a country, as a world, we're divided and people hate each other. I just feel like there's family being built.
Yeah.
And there's something about that that's just, I think everybody loves and wants.
Yeah.
And as a Lions fan, I've never really felt.
Yep.
And,
all right. Hey,
you know, credit to Campbell, credit to just the players for buying in. And sorry for getting a little emotional, but, you know, I love these guys.
Yeah. No. I feel you, bro. And I'm gonna let you go. The calls are going off the hook, but I will riff on something you said,
Love
brother.
you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Later, brother.
This team and what the family piece is exactly what has made this team so special. And I'm telling you, these guys this year, they're walking away with a sense of brotherhood that no Lions team that we've seen has in years. Hey, caller, what's your name? How much have you had to drink?
Hey, Chris. It's Ozark turning in. How you doing?
How you doing, man? How's the drug dealing going?
Oh, yeah. Thanks a lot for that.
You threw Ozark. I usually let you off the hook. How's things going, Brandon? Good to have you back, brother.
Listen, man. This is just absolutely tremendous. Do you guys feel like we probably just won the NFC Championship game and we're on to the Super Bowl in 2 weeks?
Dude,
because that's what it feels like to me.
I've talked about this.
I know it ain't.
I've talked about this for the last couple weeks, about the passing of the torch, about this team putting the rest of the NFC North on notice, and to come in there and with the refs doing what the refs do at Lambeau, Aaron Rodgers do what Aaron Rodgers does at Lambeau, and to give them all a big, fat, juicy goodbye kiss, and to walk in and walk away with that victory like they did, that means something. That means something to the rest of the NFC North. That means something to the Detroit Lions players, the coaches, the ownership, the fans, to walk out of this season on this win. I don't want to say I don't give a fuck about the playoffs, because of course I'd love to be in the playoffs, but I don't give a fuck about the playoffs because this team walked away a winner this year. And next year, looking at what this team could do is just, I'm excited as hell. I am so stoked about this team, Andy. I can't, like, we're talking about Senior Bowl and everything else, and like, it's for a different reason why the draft and all that and free agency is so fun for Lions fans. This is like a whole new bag, man. This is like a whole new thing, and I am stoked. The Lions took it. The Lions took it. They actually went in there. If it was a blowout one way or the other, it would have been crappy. It wouldn't have meant as much. This kind of victory in this place, in this way, means so much. I'm stoked, brother. This is really, really something.
You know, I got to say, and I was looking back and thinking about all the other wins that we had, like, since Stafford's time, because before that, it was the 2000s, and who even wants to think about that? And before that, it was Brett Favre and Barry Sanders years, and that's almost another generation ago, you know. But the way we won before, you remember when Drew Stanton was coming in as quarterback? And halfway through the game, Rodgers wound up with a concussion, and then we won. And then people would say, well, yeah, but Rodgers, he couldn't play anymore, so, you know, you won by default. And I thought, yeah, all right. And then later on, of course, was the Matt Flynn game, so Rodgers didn't even play, you know. And then another game was we whooped the snot out of them, but they were their backup quarterbacks. You know, last year, Rodgers played half a game, and everybody said, oh, yeah, well, we already had things locked up. Who cares? We don't care about that. They had every single thing on the docket to play for this week, tonight, and they couldn't get it done. They had the weather in their favor. They had the team in their favor. They had everybody healthy, and Watson was playing really excellent. It looked like Devontae Adams. And they had the running game going with both running backs. Bakhtiari was playing. Crosby was kicking it. And so on and so forth. And yet, what happened? They could not get it done anymore. And this team here has finally found the solution, the chemistry, the right people in the right places, not just on the field, but also on the sidelines and coaching to get this done right. I mean, it is just unbelievable that, look at the national people, what they were going on, carrying on about. It was all about the history. Oh, they're 18-1 at home, especially in the cold. The Lions don't win in the cold in Lambeau, blah, 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 blah. And only I watched the NBC pre-night show, and I finally got sick and tired of it, so I muted it, waiting for the game to start, and then saw their picks, and everyone's, yeah, I really like the Lions, but until it came to Tony Dungy, so I think they're going to pull this off.
I saw that. Oh, man.
And we've never had, I've got a few points. I know you got other callers. I'll just go ahead and get my stuff out of here like I usually do.
Double speed, brother.
We've never had such a safe quarterback.
Yeah.
Was it 9 weeks? 9 games in a row?
Yep.
No interceptions?
10, brother. 10 weeks
10?
without an interception. That's huge.
When's the last quarterback we ever had anybody like that? I mean, even Bobby Lane threw him because he didn't care. You know,
literally never. He's like in the top 10.
Drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then so you got a guy that is safe with the ball, and were you guys on edge every time he threw the ball thinking, oh God, they're going to get one this time. They're going to get us this time. I just know it. And he never did. Never threw a pick. But Rodgers sure had his fair share.
Kirby
So that
owns
was really cool.
Kirby owns Rodgers. Can we just to get for Aaron Rodgers, the old guard, to be ushered out with 3 interceptions in the season by a rookie? Kirby Joseph, I don't know, he's got to be out there. I know Jerry was trying to get a Rodgers jersey last game and again this week, but I have to say Kirby deserves a Rodgers jersey. Rodgers better cough that SOB up to him, because that boy deserves that memorabilia, because he's had a hell of a season against Aaron Rodgers.
He has.
God, Kirby Joseph,
He
what a pick.
Has. I tell you what, we have found our Glover Quinn without having to buy him. That's really what it boils down to. Yep. And I just got to say 2 more things here. First of all, to me, it's weird that all of a sudden it's over. I mean, what's tomorrow? Draft talk. We got no more games. Well, we can talk about the playoff games with other teams, but, and all of a sudden we're going to be talking about pick number 6. What are we going to do about that? So on and so forth. I don't think we should tonight, because, man, this is just too good.
Yep.
And when it comes to the draft, do you guys have really now a complete trust in the draft with the administration we've got in place? Because that I mentioned in chat, the reason why the Lions were so good this year is because the acceleration of the draft picks and how good they turned out, they all hit. If only 2 or 3 of them hit, we'd be talking about 4 or 5 wins, and then we got to get some more bodies on the field that are talented. But these guys all hit. It accelerated the pace of our growth. Next year, we are looking really good, man. And I can't wait to see who else we bring in. Come on, buy Deron Payne, baby. Let's go. Talk to you guys later. Have a great week.
See you later, Brandon. Appreciate you.
Later.
Oh man, Andy, I'm going to let you talk to this caller. All right, I'm just going to answer it. Hey, caller, what's your name? How much have you had to drink? And I wanted to introduce you to Sandman.
Oh, me and Sandman go way back.
Way back.
How's
it going?
This time I can hear him, probably.
We're off to a good start.
This is John down in Charlotte, and
hey, John.
I've had way too many celebratory beverages.
Oh, there's never too many, my friend. It is 12:30 on a Sunday night after a late football game where the Lions trounced the Packers in Lambeau Field, forced Aaron Rodgers into retirement in shame with tears in his eyes, Randall Cobb holding his hands like a little freaking all the way down the tunnel. Oh, absolutely. It's never.
Tim, you're right. I gotta go get another one. You just sold me. Crack open another one, man.
A lot of call-ins tomorrow.
I called in. How did Brandon not mention the 2014 game? To me, this game just makes me think back to 2014. You guys remember, end of that season in Lambeau for the division, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Stafford playing against wasn't that the game that Rodgers was limping around? He got his leg stepped on by Sue, all that nonsense.
I think he tripped over his skirt. Yeah.
I don't think I think he went out of the game or something. But I remember what I remember from that game was I felt like Matthew Stafford actually played better than Aaron Rodgers. I think he might have had a fumble or something, but for the most part, he was playing better. And everything around him though was garbage. I think we gave up a punt return touchdown or some special teams fiasco. We let a hobbled Aaron Rodgers beat us on defense, right? And I remember that game feeling like Stafford's in there doing everything he can, and the rest of the team just couldn't get it done to win the division. And we let a hobbled Aaron Rodgers just kind of embarrass us. And we have to go on the road to Dallas, and look what happened. We get knocked out in the first round. And if we had just won that game, and we should have had a home playoff game, and instead, we're one and done in the playoffs, and then Sue leaves and he's crying and all this stuff, and all the shit that happens after that is sad. But I mean, that was back when we hadn't won in Lambeau for years. It was over a decade since we won, and it still was a couple years until finally Stafford got it done. And here Goff comes in, and he's 2-0 in Lambeau, I think. And the difference is I mean, Goff didn't have an amazing game. He did play better than Rodgers because look at the game he did. I mean, Rodgers did what? He chucked up 2 Hail Mary balls. One of them was picked. One of them was a pass interference, and another one should have been picked and was saved by a penalty. I mean, Rodgers didn't have a great game, but the difference is this year we had a whole team come to play this game, even though we don't get to go to the playoffs. We had special teams. The punt returner for them is dynamic, and we stuffed him. Crosby, is whatever. But the point is, it feels like we actually have a team and not just a Stafford and a bunch of hope.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, 100%.
And that's the one I think back to, that game.
Yeah, I think the biggest part, and it was actually, I think it was a guy in chat while we were on. A guy in chat brought up the fact that this team is winning, and you have to give credit to Jared Goff because some of this culture, some of the play calls, some of the run fits, have to be attributed to him. And it's a crazy thing to think about when you had a guy like Stafford who was balls to the wall. I want to win. I'm going to will us as far as I can possibly will us. Then going to a Jared Goff guy who is, as Jamal Williams put, Bruce Banner. He's Bruce Banner. He plays his role. He does what he's supposed to, and he plays a damage-free game, I guess is how I would put it. He doesn't cause too much damage to his own team, if any. The last 10 games, he has literally caused almost 0. He had the 1 fumble. And it's easy to win when you can rely on multiple people to win you games, and that was always the downfall of Stafford. People would say, oh, we never had a running game for Stafford. We didn't have a running game because of Stafford. Because Stafford was throwing the ball 50 times. Are we really going to run the ball effectively when you rush the ball 20 times a game? Or less? No. You could say, well, they threw that much. No. As soon as he got to the Rams, same thing. No, no rushing offense. Jared Goff has always had a good rushing offense for the most part. He comes here and it continues. I think that, there's a lot of things that just kind of small things that we don't know about, that we'll probably never know about. But, you kind of just get lucky. Like Patrick Mahomes just seems to make plays, and that's just who he is. It's like the invisible trait.
Yeah.
And Jared Goff has something. I don't know what it is.
I tried to cue up
when Jared Goff is good. Whew.
I tried to cue up the gut punches will stop quote in the background, but I have it in a video format versus an audio format, and it's a little funkified. I have to get that, but
you have it in a JPEG.
Just remember, well, it's the new song for him. If I play it, it plays the video over us, and we can't have that. This beauty, this unadulterated skin. Yeah, no. I mean, the gut punches will stop, and it was funny. I go back to that where Tori Petrie and so many snarky SOL people were like, "Oh, you sweet summer child. Oh, Jared, you'll learn." And now those same people are like, "Oh, Jared Goff, yay." Piss off. This is he came in and he told you the gut punch. That's why I loved him so much in the audio, in the calls at the end of this year. That confidence and the swag and the kind of like saying "bite me" without saying "bite me" that he typically did. I loved it because he deserved it. The crap that he took and the Malik Willis truthers that said we need Willis at 2. Again, Sandman, I'll go back to what we talked about at the beginning of the show. Had we drafted Malik Willis at number 2, like so many clowns wanted us to do, okay, and we'd gone 1-6, it would have been an absolute meltdown because he can't even play for the Titans. Dobbs, a castaway, is playing for the Titans.
Our 5th backup, yeah,
is playing in Tennessee for the whole future of that team. Please, please, please. Take a breath, man. This Jared Goff kid might know a thing or two. He might be able to throw a football. Just step back and let him go. I'm impressed with not just that he can do it, because I knew he could, but the hell he went through to get to the point that he is today, and the people that just were so out on him. And I get it, right? I get it, but Man, you've watched the Lions long enough, so you feel bad. Fine, okay, but at some point you got to be able to evaluate talent a little bit. So there we are. That's that's my rant. Hey, caller, we both talked, but we're gonna let you go because we've got a million people hitting the lines right now. Okay, brother.
Love you guys.
All right, love you too, man.
Thanks for calling in.
Go Goff.
All right, there you go. All right, here we go. Hey, caller, turns down the background. What's your name and how much have you had to drink so far?
Hey, how you guys going? This is Nick and Phil. This is Phil from New York.
Nick and Phil.
We've been watching and having drinks since the Seattle game, so we've lost count. You know,
that's the best kind.
You know, and listen, I was so salty after the Seattle Seahawks absolutely devastated us and blew that game, or the refs gave it to them. But I'll tell you what, midway through the first quarter, I was back in it. Let it go. I was totally vested in this Sunday night football game. We were out watching it at a bar with a bunch of other fans, some Green Bay fans. And I'll tell you what, guys, I can't remember a more satisfying win as a Lions fan. I'm 36. I've been watching the team since I was, so I can remember.
Well, 5 years old.
Yeah,
right?
5 years old. Right, yeah, exactly. I actually had a Packer fan come up to me at the bar and said, "Enjoy it while it lasts," after the win. And I looked at him thinking, you know what? Guess what?
We own the North.
We own the North. The Lions are going up. The Packers are on the downslope here, guys.
Because you always say that when it's over for you, right? Well, I know what it's like on the downside, so while it lasts, yeah, bite me, brother. Not in the caller, sorry, the guy in the bar.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I just got to say, when we go back, looking at the last real play of the game, Goff stepping up, making a big play, and also just the call that came from the coaching staff, right? The call that little, what was it? Up the middle, little 3-yard, and turn back and catch the ball from
the
DJ
little hook
Chark.
and ladder there.
Yeah. A little hook and ladder, just a gutsy call from the coaching staff, and a gutsy play from Goff and Chark to deliver. Well, not just the Chark play, but the hook and ladder from Monroe St. Brown to who was it? Leaf? No, it was our
Swift. Yeah, it was Swift.
Yeah, that was the ballsiest. That was the ballsiest call of the game. I mean, what a ballsy call that was. That was fantastic.
That and that's such a crazy call, and I'm sure that the people around the NFL are going to talk about it, but I don't know if it's going to get enough credit for how ballsy it actually was, because that toss back is a nightmare waiting to happen.
Yep.
Amon-Ra St. Brown gets hit while he's tossing it, and now it's a fumble. Swift doesn't catch it, now it's a fumble. And there's nobody behind these guys. So if a fast Packer player just picks it up, that's a touchdown the other direction. It takes a lot of trust in your guys to execute a play like that. And to call it in a moment like that is just as crazy.
And do you credit that? I mean, obviously you got to credit that to the players because they executed the play, and we got great players on offense like St. Brown, Goff, however, and Swift, obviously. But that's that's MCDC right there, right? I mean, that's an MCDC thing, or is that more Ben? Do you think it's more Ben, or do you think it's an MCDC thing?
I think that's a question we won't know until Ben leaves. But I think it's more MCDC than people want to admit. I think, Ben is getting a lot of accolades, and I think he should. I think he's an incredible play caller. But we don't really know whose playbook this is. Because Dan Campbell came from an offensive juggernaut. He knows what he's doing. When he took over play calling last year, things made a drastic change for the better almost immediately. And now Ben Johnson was a part of that. So we still haven't really seen them separated. But I would say that, our offense is 100% based around Jared Goff's college offense. It's very similar. I think that the scheme is Dan Campbell is running what he wants to run as far as the offense, as far as wanting to be smash mouth, wanting to be other things. And I think Ben is a fantastic play caller. And I think that when you combine all those things, it's kind of a, diamond in the rough or lightning in a bottle, however you want to call it. But it's special.
When did Sammy Watkins play for and how long did he play for the Packers?
It wasn't very long. I think it was the beginning of this year for a couple games.
A couple of weeks, okay. Kirby Joseph has more receptions from Rodgers than Sammy Watkins. Just
and by the way, he should have had more.
Yeah, he should have. He should have had one more. You're right.
Well, so gentlemen, we just got one question for you. I mean, I have a couple questions here, but the most important one, I think, is around like what off-season moves the Detroit Lions got to make to really elevate themselves to the next level and compete for the NFC North and really make some moves in the playoffs. What do you think they need to do?
Sandman, I'll let you go first, brother. And with that caller, I'm gonna pull the collar off with that question. It's ringing off the hook, brothers.
Guys.
Thank you guys so much for calling in.
Thank you guys.
Right, go ahead, Sandman.
I think guard is a big need. I think it's bigger. It's a bigger need than we were hoping it would be. But I don't think you need to spend a lot of capital on it. I think the biggest thing that the Lions need to do is they need to get guys on the defensive backside that will play Dan Campbell defensive football, Aaron Glenn defensive football, guys that will run up and tackle, guys that can play coverage but also fill run gaps as needed. I think that's the biggest thing. And when we saw this defense getting ran over, a lot of the major issues that they had was that nobody was trusting anybody else. So our safeties were doing things that they probably shouldn't be doing because they knew that the cornerback was going to get beat. Or, our linebackers were having to fill holes because, that just the person that was supposed to be there wasn't going to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think once you get enough talent, that kind of stuff goes away. I think the number one thing that's going to happen this offseason is get more talent. This is a pretty, I don't want to say talentless, but this team has a lot of holes. And for them to be where they're at with the talent level they have in a lot of key areas, it's insane. And we also have to prep for injuries and stuff like that. But
hey, caller,
this offseason is going to be the most fun that we've had in a long time.
Hey, caller, it's my turn. And we'll get to you in 1 second. I just have to hit. I think for this team, it's all about defense, and I think defensive tackle and cornerback the first round just absolute grabs. I think you get yourself a linebacker a little bit later. You may fly on a running back down the draft a little ways, and a wide receiver. A guard is of course somebody that's potentially extremely important. But I do want to really quick highlight Penei Sewell, because there are people that I talk to in the building, and you guys know that this isn't smoke, because we really do talk to people who are in the building. Penei Sewell, there's a number of people who say this may be the best player that they have ever coached, period, in the NFL. And this kid's young. He's just barely drinking.
So young.
And this is, you guys, we love him. You see the catch, you see all the fun. I don't know anybody knows he's been playing with a high ankle for a long time this season, Penei. And there's one game where you could kind of see it a little bit. The other games he played through and didn't matter. Ragnow are made out of pure freaking steel. Pure steel.
Yep.
These guys are awesome. Hey, caller, what's your name? How much have you had to drink so far?
Hey, guys. My name is Reese. I'm from Grand Rapids, Michigan. And I started drinking when the Lions started their game after the Seattle game. So I've had a few, but not a crazy amount.
Okay. Let me ask you one more question.
A nice buzz going.
Have you clicked the like and subscribe button yet? Right. Have you clicked the like and subscribe button yet, caller?
I have. I just did tonight. I've been listening to you guys for a little bit at work, and I thought after tonight's game, tonight was the night I had to like and subscribe, because I've never watched you guys on YouTube before. I've only done it on
the audio,
like Spotify during work.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so tonight I loaded up the stream and was like, I gotta I gotta like
Oh
and
yeah.
subscribe.
Oh
No,
yeah.
so I just wanted to say, like, I was sad that we didn't make the playoffs, but listening to you guys over the past few weeks and just really put it into perspective, like at the beginning of the season, we were expected to be a 6-win team. You looked at every website, you looked at every sports analyst, and they said we were going to be a 6-win team middle of the NFC. Like we weren't expected to be that good of a team. So to go out there and to put up 9 wins, I am happier than ever. And I just want to say, like, thank you to Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson, because I was watching with my brother tonight, and I was talking to him, and I mean, watching these fun little trick plays or gutsy, ballsy plays every week, whether it's the Penei Sewell reception or the Brock Wright 4th down touchdown a few weeks ago. And even tonight, we saw the little screenplay to Amon-Ra to the pitch back to Swift. And like those gutsy plays and kind of fun 4th down plays just make it so much fun to watch. I mean, I've been watching the Lions since I can remember. I mean, I'm only 22, so it's been since I can remember, but I can't remember a season where I have had this much fun watching a young team grow, and I'm just excited for the future.
Yeah, no, I don't think many Lions fans are used to this. I mean, we've always talked about the rebuild, and then it just never, it was the boil over. It was never the big reality. And what we're seeing now is a genuine rebuild, and you can tell because of the coaches. As Sandman was saying, with all the gaps in the roster that there are today, this coaching staff being able to wring this kind of a year, a positive winning record year out of this team is incredible. People aren't, Lions fans haven't seen this. They just haven't. And to be on a real rebuild that's really working with real players and real, this is just a great ride. And Salmon, to enter in the off season on this kind of an up note, and a real last year we beat them for a half, and we're going to sit our guys. This was truly a dismantling of the Packers. This was a destruction of the whole kind of mythology of the Packers for the Lions.
Yeah, and we talked a lot, a few years ago about how Matt Patricia touched me in my fandom. And Dan Campbell has also touched me in my fandom, but I welcome it. He's brought it back.
No, he just makes the game fun to watch. And his press conferences, he's always got energy. Like, he's bringing life back to Detroit. From going the past few seasons, like, we've had 5-win seasons, 3-win seasons. And just to bring this team out there to get a winning record and to look forward to the future, having picks from the Rams and having our own pick, it's exciting.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
And really, I think one of the biggest talking points that I'm going to focus on this offseason is how these wins were different. We've had Lions teams that were kind of fluky. Like the 2016 Lions were kind of fluky. Kind of like how the Vikings are this year, to be honest, where things seemed to go their way when they needed to, but it didn't seem sustainable. It was always a nail biter. There was always something crazy going on. These wins this year have been sustainable wins. We are winning because we're a better football team. We're not winning because of a bad throw by the opposing quarterback or a bad fumble. We're causing bad throws. We're causing fumbles. We are the reason we're winning. And I don't know when the last time that really was, to be honest. I mean, all the Lions wins kind of have felt like we've won this one, But now we're on to the next one, and who knows what's going to happen. This string of wins, this team identity, it's really carrying through, and I think that's really what Dan Campbell has brought to the Lions. That has never been, or hasn't been recently here.
No, and the youth. So let me just take a moment and caller, earmuffs. Fuck Chris Collinsworth. It just needs to be said. It just needs to be straight out said.
It does.
Because that guy was just ball jacking on Aaron Rodgers like no one ever has. And talking about, the rookies on the Green Bay Packers. You can, again,
these nuts.
Because you want to talk about rookies and rookies performing. Don't point at the Green Bay Packers. That's not the team. The Detroit Lions are 2 years of rookies deep for the majority of the roster, it feels like. And they are out there and they destroyed Aaron Rodgers. They just pulled him out and beat him in the street and left his bloody body retired and done. I just had I had so much of enough of Chris Collinsworth just trying to get both balls in the whole thing. I just had enough, and it was crap. And youngest team in the league went out there and destroyed the great Aaron Rodgers. Thank you very much, Detroit Lions, for doing that for me. Ooh. Okay, sorry, I just had to get that off my check. It's been off my chest. It's been
You take your earmuffs off now.
No, I completely agree. And there were a few later on in the broadcast. There were some penalties on Green Bay's rookies, and I think Chris Collinsworth said something along the lines of like, well, that's the other thing about playing with rookies is they make a lot of these mistakes. And I turned to my brother and said, like, I mean, Aiden's got 2 sacks on Aaron Rodgers tonight. Kirby's got a pick. Our rookies are playing out of their minds. Just, maybe one mention of like, hey, these rookies from the Lions are playing unreal or something. Like it always had to be something about, the Packers are doing this to themselves. Like the Lions aren't winning this game. But the bottom line is they are.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah. Absolutely. Ooh. All right. Hey, caller, we're going to let you go. It continues to ring, and we want to get through everybody. We want to give everybody a chance to call in, man. Thank you, Reese. Appreciate your call, brother.
Enjoy the rest of you guys tonight. I appreciate you taking my call.
Please pray for us tomorrow when you're having coffee in the morning, because we're going to be having coffee in the morning and working too.
Oh, I know. I'll give it a listen. I got to.
All right, brother. We'll talk to you. All right. We'll grab another one here. We'll get right into it. Hey, caller, what's your name? How much have you had to drink so far? Tune in Tokyo. Hello? Come on, caller. We got you.
Nothing.
All right. Well, that's going to be... Oh, wait. Hey, caller, you there? I hear you now. Say something. Use words, caller. Caller? Are you with me? Well, okay. We'll just get another caller. That's what we do. Hey, caller, what's your name? How much have you had to drink so far?
Hi, this is Brandon from Midland, Michigan.
Midland. Life up near the thumb. It's better than the middle finger. How you doing up there, brother?
Brother, fabulous. Sitting in my cold-ass garage. I'm on my 4th Grand Rapids. Black Rocks Brewery up in Marquette. It's fabulous.
Yep.
Nice.
Unfortunately, though, it's the last of them. I have to start cracking into these Vizzy hard seltzers. Ooh, buddy. Lean times. It's lean times.
That's what I've been working on, trying to get smaller, and it's not working. I should just go back to beer.
Yeah, you drink too many seltzers, you have to prop yourself up with pillows so you don't get that acid reflux. We're all getting old here, right?
Well, when my diet plan starts back up here in the next couple of days, I already got a whole big bottle of my drink much and lose weight elixir, my big jug of Costco Irish whiskey. That shit will never do you wrong. But I tell you, so check this out, right? I'll be doing the carnivore diet, and let me tell you, drinking on that is a bitch. The hangovers are like as bad as any hangover has ever been, and then add dying to it. It's horrible. Horrible. Honestly, it makes me not want to drink. It's like, oh, this is gonna hurt, but it's gonna be fun.
Wait a minute. They're saying Midland ain't near the thumb. It's like in the little crux of the thumb, right?
No, it is not. No.
It's like under the first finger, like an extra knuckle. I gotta go look at my map. I haven't lived there in a couple of years.
Chris. It is in the middle.
No,
literally the middle of the mitt.
I gotta look because I know exactly where Claire is, and I had a place.
It's like it's west of Bay City.
Yeah.
It's due west of Bay City, and I'm about 30 minutes southeast of Claire.
Yeah, no, that's in the crux of the thumb. What are you talking about? Okay. I know because I'd go through Midland all the time.
We are splitting hairs.
Yeah, I used to go through Midland all the time. I almost got a place up in there's a little town called Everett, and it was 80 acres, and it had a stream, and it was turkeys and deer, and I was like, I gotta get this, and at the last minute it fell through, and I wanted it so bad, and I will never ever forget it because it was gorgeous. It was absolutely gorgeous. I need some northern property, but oh well. All right. Anyway, I'm not going to split hairs on Midland and the thumbs, but it's like it's in the crux of the thumb, which is the thumb. Okay. What do you got for us, brother? Besides drinking talk and map talk, what do you got for us?
Well, cheers to all of us for a successful Detroit Misfit Lions season. And I say misfits because we are the team of like youth and broken parts. The shit nobody wanted, we built the team with. I mean, Bugs, he got cut. Benito Jones, he got cut. Brayman, he got cut. Nobody wanted Reynolds. Kaminsky, he got cut. I mean, all these guys that contributed, Anzalone, nobody wanted his ass. So, I mean, we are made up of all these players that nobody wanted, and then we draft good people, which is going to continue because I don't think we really have that much draft room because we're going to have to re-sign all these guys. They're going to get a pay bump. They're going to eat up with a little bit we're going to get back from our dead cap space. So stop it. Stop with your little – I see you with your hand on there. But so we're going to be stuck with the draft, which is great because we got, the 5 picks. 5 picks, that should matter. You should be able to get 3 starters, 1 that's close and 1 that's developmental, like a Joseph in the 3rd round. So, you guys are hitting it right. We need a defensive tackle, a stud that we can make Bugs and McNeil and Jones. One guy who's as good as the other 2, and then Jones is your last guy. You got to have that. That's where we just keep getting killed. Those guys are good, but they're just not at that next level. We need to find that Hargrove, that Chris Jones style guy. We don't need a defensive end. We need, like you said, we probably need 2 cornerbacks. And Chris, you sold me. You and Riz have sold me on Branch. He's perfect to replace Harris. Perfect. And then I don't know, Sandman.
I keep Harris.
I don't know, Sandman. I don't know if I can go with that Oregon boy. Keep Harris?
I keep Will Harris. My guys earned a spot, and the one thing we know we need at cornerback is depth. It's the most athletic position on the roster, and it's the most injured position on the roster. I'm of the mind, like, if I were to build out my roster and compared to every other NFL team right now, I would probably carry 1 more cornerback than any other team.
Sure, no, 100% agree. Because if you look at every offense, they're running out 3, 4 wide receivers, or they're running these tight ends that are supposedly tight ends, but they're really bigger, slower receivers who are fabulous, but they don't want to pay them wide receiver money. So you need guys that can play with these guys. We need 1 big body on the outside that can challenge Okuda and our favorite player, number 39, seatbeltgang.com.
Yeah, there you
go. So we need a guy that can challenge them, keep them getting better. So, but I'm telling you, I know you like Harris. You think you earned a spot, and he'll be back next year, because he's going to be cheap. But I think we need a guy that's better in the slot.
Yeah.
I mean, Harris did some good things, but we need a guy that can stick a little bit more like glue. Like, I love Harris as a depth product. I love him on special teams. I don't love him starting at the nickel the whole season because I think you'll just be like, hey, this guy's, we kind of like him. He kind of puts out. Some plays he really does. A lot of plays he doesn't. And we'll just get eaten alive by the next team that got, say, somewhat resemblance to Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Aurora.
You know, no, Jesus, Lord mercy, that guy's cut. Are you kidding me?
I just want you to say his name. I just want you to say his name, brother.
Oh, Aruarie.
Good.
Pretty good.
Aruarie. He's gonna be making some flapjacks at the old Waffle House, bro. Not on
catching chairs. Yeah.
I tell you what, I thought he got away with a pretty good penalty when Kirby got his pick. I was just like, oh no, it's a penalty. And then Kirby gets it. I'm going, where's the flag? He didn't throw the flag.
All right.
Oh, go ahead. You were going to say something.
Yeah, caller, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to let Sandman talk, and then because it keeps rolling. It keeps rolling. The time keeps tripping.
Keeps rolling.
We got to do our thing. You see that? I got the
right on, boys. Thanks.
All right, brother. Thank you.
All
right, go ahead, Sandman.
Yeah, I think our cornerback situation's going to be crazy. Somebody in chat, literally said it's going to be a bloodbath in training camp next year at cornerback. I agree.
Yep.
I think I think defensive tackle's going to be a bloodbath. Mm-hmm. I think cornerback's going to be a bloodbath, and even potentially linebacker could be a bloodbath, depending on how they draft and who they bring in for free agency. We haven't even talked about free agency. We're talking about 100% draft.
Yeah.
The Lions are almost at the point where they do the good free agent signings that good teams do, where they sign one or two guys that make impact. Like, maybe we don't have to draft a guard because maybe we grab one. Yeah. Maybe we don't need a cornerback because we get one.
That's right.
And we feel comfortable. I think the one thing that we've learned throughout this entire process with Dan Campbell and his staff and Brad Holmes is that they're not glued to anybody. If you're the best player or if you're the best fit, you're going to see playing time. And that's
Hawkinson being traded tells you everything you need to know in that chapter of the book.
Yep. Hey, you're not willing to put a wham block on a defensive end that outweighs you by 60 pounds? Maybe we don't have room for you here.
I told people, again, the coaches didn't think he worked. They didn't think he didn't try. I put the video out and people were offended. People were hurt. They're fans. I get it. But sometimes things are what they are inside the team and inside the clubhouse. Hey, caller, what's your name? How much have you had to drink?
Hey, Chris, this is Logan, and I have had 2 drinks, real 2, not 2 like the first guy who called in, but
not the 5-gallon buckets.
I'm riding that line tonight.
How you doing, Logan? Appreciate you calling. You were at the party this year too, weren't you? With Jerry.
Yes, sir. And
nice.
started the season off, and now we're ending it here with a call in.
Yes.
So, before I get to what I was going to say, I definitely just heard the end of what Sandman was saying there, and some of these players, man, who play with such heart, but it's one of those things where it's like, we're going to need, in order to improve this defense, we need some better players, but you have to trust this coaching staff that they're going to put the best person on the field, and that the team knows that it's going to be about the competition. And that's something to love for sure, because, the guys they have right now have definitely bought in, and in that way deserve to be there, but they got to prove it next year over that, as the team gets better, bringing in the more talent.
And not only have they bought in, and I'm sorry to jump in on you, not only have they bought in,
no, go,
but from top to bottom, they've built a brotherhood. And it doesn't matter if you're Aiden Hutchinson or Jared Goff, or you're in UDFA, Jerry Jacobs, or who you are on this team. You are part of the brotherhood. You go out there, you play, you develop, you improve. Will Harris, come in there, slam your seatbelt, gang, at the end of the game and show everybody that we won and that you're happy to be there as a teammate. This team, and that's the thing, where they talk about family on three, right? This is a team. This is a family. This is a group of people that truly, this is a special team. Like, I think about the Dolphins team that gets together and does their toast every time somebody loses and they don't have the undefeated record. That kind of brotherhood is very, very much what I see in this locker room this year. They didn't win all their games. They didn't make the playoffs, but the connection that these guys have together, the coaching staff has, the families of the coaching staff. I'm just telling you, this is something really, really, really different. And it's not just different from for the Lions. This is different within the NFL. It's really, really special. And this is like, it's going to change over next year. There's going to be some new people. There's going to be people that have to be let go. There's good people. They're going to have to be let go as this team grows and moves on. And that's going to be, I think, the next test as to can they keep that together? Can they keep this closeness and this love of each other as a team together as those things change and they grow and become that kind of a better team? But that's a heck of a lot easier test than can you be a team in the first place. So sorry, I didn't mean to go off on a big tangent, but this team, this group of guys is there's something really, really special that's running through that locker room right now.
No, and that's kind of leads into what I've been thinking about for like the past 2 weeks, and ending the season this way solidifies it. Is that the leadership these guys are going to show next year, in that knowing that at the beginning of the year, one more play in the Eagles game or the Seahawks game or the Vikings game, and they would have been in the postseason. And you hear the coaches say, oh, every play matters, every game matters, but do you really internalize that? Do you really buy into that? Or is it just coach speak and you hear it and like, okay, yeah, we're going to play hard. Where these guys, whether, whoever new comes on the team, the rookies, from the first minute of training camp, every single guy who's in this building is going to say, no, every second matters. And if we make one more play the entire year than we did last year, we're punching our ticket. And that's a different mindset. Like, you can hear it from the coaches, but to feel it, to embody it, it's similar to, I think of, what Hutch did between his junior year and his senior year at Michigan, and knowing the difference between feeling, okay, well, we could have had that, but we didn't. And he had that leadership there in college. And now even these guys going into their second year next year are going to be feeling that. And I'm excited for that.
As long as they keep that mentality. And this is Sandman. I hear it. He says it to his guys all the time.
I wanted some fucking pants, but I didn't have pants. This is all I had in my locker.
I hit the wrong button.
Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and 3 toes. I will beat your ass.
That's how you run it. That's how you keep people in line.
Yep.
Say, man, tell me about beating their ass with one ass cheek and 3 toes.
I do think that there's an ass-kicking mentality here. Mm-hmm. And I think that a lot of that plays into the kind of guys that they're drafting. Your Malcolm Rodriguez's, your Aiden Hutchinson's, your Josh Pascal's. These are all guys with permanent chips. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Permanent chips. They are never going to rest on their laurels. They are never going to think that they can't get better. They are never going to not take teaching. It's the culture is Dan Campbell, and I don't know how this team functions without it. I honestly, the draft picks and the free agents that have come here, everybody's bought in. And you actually, during Hard Knocks, you would see other players on Twitter saying, oh, Dan Campbell's the kind of guy that I would love to play for. Back when I was playing, this is the kind of guy. And I think that what that's going to do is that's going to bring free agents here that want to be a part of this, that want to have fun while playing football while also playing hard. Yep. You're going to get undrafted free agents that are going to sign here over other places because they legitimately will have an opportunity to play if they outplay other people. It's a literal win and you're in situation if you're a player. And that matters.
And Hard Knocks was the billboard for that. This is what we're telling you, this is what we're going to say, and then they did it. All season long, they did it. They did it when they were losing, and they did it when they're winning. And as a player, you look at that and you say, you know what? I could be the difference in Detroit, and I can be the player, and I can earn that spot. That's what I think what really means a lot to players. And I know you don't beat you know, you don't build a team in free agency. But free agency can be really, really helpful. It can be really, really helpful. And we're in a spot where players just might want to come here for other reasons than money and the biggest paycheck. And guys that are here might just want to stay for something other than the biggest paycheck they can get. And I would love to pay every player the most you can pay him at every position, but you can't. That's not how it works. And I think players understand that as well. But at the end of the day, you make the money you make, and $1 million when you're paying chunky taxes on all that money, it's a lot of money, but in the scheme of all of what you make, it maybe isn't as much. And I think players can make decisions. I say it, you know, with the full knowledge that people stay at jobs for less money because of who they work with, what they're doing, how much they love what they're doing. They love their boss. People don't quit jobs, they quit their boss. Who hates their boss here in Detroit, right? Jamie Collins, well, they quit him anyway. People in Detroit, they're not quitting their boss, and this is a big one. So there we go. All right, we're rocking and rolling here. Appreciate all the likes. Please, just going to hit it really quick. Hit the like and subscribe button. We do it once a show. We ask you guys to do it. It's free. You're sitting here watching. You're sitting here watching right now. Go ahead and hit the like button. It's free and doesn't cost you anything. Subscribe button is even better because that helps us out. And I'm going to tell you, the coverage that we will have this year at the Senior Bowl is unlike any coverage available anywhere in Detroit or that you're going to see. Sandman's going to be there. Yep. Colin, Riz, Scott, me. We got 5 people going down there, and we've got coverage like you have never seen before. And live interviews, live broadcasts. We're going to have a couple other things I'm not going to talk about now because I haven't shared it with the guys, but it's some pretty killer stuff. Get the subscription button hit and get the bell notified because these things pop up. We get 5-10 minutes notice and we're going to do an interview. That's it. That's just the way it is.
Senior Bowl week is crazy, so make sure that you guys are locked into us. Yes. Because it's going to be wild and crazy. Things are going to be flying around, and take that week off of work. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, and
hang out with us.
And we're going to be pushing content. There's probably going to be anywhere between 15 to 25 videos a day. I'm just telling you, there's going to be a ton of stuff. It's pretty cool. So, all right, hit the like, subscribe. Appreciate everyone who does that, and it really does help us out. That's our one little thingy doodle. Sandman, it's getting late. I know you're tired. Do we want to? Caller, we're gonna blast off here, buddy. We gotta see if we get 1 or 2 more callers and then call it a night, okay?
Let's do it.
Yeah, thanks for a great season, y'all.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you calling in and
being
with us here.
Talk to you soon.
There we go. Draft talk is gonna be huge. Draft talk is just gonna be so big, and it's like I'm trying to draw the line, right? We want to celebrate just blowing balls deep into the Packers and forcing Aaron into retirement on a down note with tears and holding a Cobb's hand as they walk each other down the tunnel. Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. We're going to love that today. Tomorrow, we'll begin with the draft and we'll start a lot of that coverage. So get ready because we're going to be blasting you guys. Off season, we do it every week. We do 1 show a week minimum, and there's going to be a lot more content. We're probably going to have 4 to 5 days of content in the entire off season. So there you go. If you want to give us a call, 248-782-83. We got them coming in. Okay, here we go. Hey caller, what's your name? How much have you had to drink so far?
I was just going to ask you how much you think Audrey Pleasance had to drink tonight. And the other thing I wanted to say was my whole life of being a Detroit fan, everyone ragged on Ford for being a bad owner.
Yep.
I think Sheila's kind of stepped up here a little bit, eh?
110%.
Oh, yeah.
Sheila has been, and let's talk about how clutch Sheila was coming out. I think it was right after 1-6. And saying, I believe in this. Like at the hardest point of the season, she came out and she took the tip of the spear roll and took all the slings and the arrows from the fans, and everybody was hating, and the people saying Dan Campbell needs to go, and Goff isn't the guy, and all that stuff. She came out and put her face after being booed last year. Remember when Spielman was being brought in the Ring of Honor? She went out there with a sack bigger than most of you and took all that and stood up there and said, "We're heading in the right direction." And then the rest of the season
the process.
happened. Yeah. Yep. And the rest of the season happened after that. Ladies and gentlemen, Sheila Hamp is a superstar, and as owners, I just have to tell you, I'm pretty impressive. Pretty impressive.
Yep.
She's a lot better than Chris Illich.
He's got his downside.
hey, go Lions, eh?
Yeah, all the way.
Heck,
man.
go Lions.
A wild off season.
This is going to be a great.
It's going to be exciting. It's going to be super exciting. Yeah, this offseason is going to be so cool. It just, we are, the car is built. It's got tires. It's got an engine. Now we're adding spoilers. We're adding a cool paint job. You know,
spinners. I want spinners. Do you remember every other time they had the car on there, it was flying apart, and this time it was on the assembly line? My wife mentioned that to me, and I was like, "You're right. The story is different." Right, the analogy here they're giving.
Even Hard Knocks had the Lions building cars, so.
Yep.
Perfect.
Jerry Jacobs saying Harvard. I freaking died. It was great. It was awesome. Hey, caller, what's your name? How much have you had to drink so far?
Hi, my name's Quentin. I've had quite a few.
Hey, Quentin.
So listen, I'm an out-of-state fan. I'm in the South Central PA area, so I'm right in between Steelers, Ravens, Eagles fans.
Yeah.
But the big thing that I'm wondering, I hear all these Steelers fans saying, "Get rid of Tomlin." I'm hearing Ravens fans shitting their pants, wondering where's Lamar going to go. What do you think about us? Are we going to keep everybody?
I hope so. I don't think this coaching staff is perfect by any stretch, but it's kind of perfect for itself. I don't know how else to describe that. I think everybody in this coaching staff fits together well.
Yep. Even
if there are some weaker links, I think that it's hard to say. You know, I think Ben Johnson is 100% going to get interviewed for head coaching jobs this year. I don't know if he's going to get any. I think it'd be kind of nuts for a team to hire somebody after one good year of calling plays.
I think you're going to hear that he didn't get them, but I'm going to tell you he turned them down. And that lets everyone kind of save face and move on. He's not going anywhere. And I will tell you, he is about 1/4 of what that offense is. Right? He's an important part. Don't get me wrong. But when they didn't know who was going to call plays, it's because any one of them can call plays. They build redundancy into the system because they know that anybody could get hired at any time. That's how they build it. And the redundancy and the ability to carry the stuff on is going to be fine. It'll be fine. I'm not worried. Sorry.
Yeah, I think Ben Johnson is the one I'm most worried about because I mean, you look at the plays that he's called, just the ballsy shit that he's done, you know. So I think he's the one I'm most worried about, especially with all the head coach, I guess, rumors at this point, huh?
Yeah, it's all rumors, and look, we've heard 2 years in a row that Bieniemy was the guy that's going to bounce, right? And he didn't. And it's not because he's not good. It's because he knows he and Andy Reid together are magic. And I'll go back to Hard Knocks. How much Ben Johnson did you see? Why was that? Does Ben Johnson like the cameras? Does he like getting in front of a bunch of people?
To say it, I didn't watch enough of the Hard Knocks. You know, I know, and I beat myself up every day, but. God, you know.
I'll answer the question for you then. Ben Johnson was on exactly 3 times. He saw 0 camera.
Andy, 60 seconds again, my brother.
Oh my God.
It's nighttime.
long
You got a
pod.
good caller here. This guy's going to help you through, I promise.
No, I think I honestly do. I think that Ben Johnson, will have opportunities, but I think Chris is right for the most part in that Ben is a smart enough guy that he knows that he hasn't reached the pinnacle of anything yet. He was our tight ends coach last year. Like that's a pretty big leap. I mean, anybody, can come out and be a head coach and have success if everything lines up. But I think Ben knows what he has here, and it's going to be a risky proposition for him to move too quickly.
So that definitely gives me hope. But like I said, I'm surrounded by Ravens fans especially, and Lamar and his whole contract thing. Are there any players that you're especially worried about us losing?
I'm worried about. We have a couple of free agents that are interesting, but I don't know how much they'll cost. So Jamal Williams is one of those guys. I think that they need to bring him back. Deshaun Elliott is another guy who I feel like is a locker room benefit. Not only did he play pretty good while he was here, he also, is a big outspoken guy that leads this team. DJ Chark, I think he might cost too much. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to be too worried about DJ Chark, especially with Jameson Williams coming up. And, excuse me. And, the potential to draft another guy. And really, Khalif Raymond's our number 2 wide receiver anyway, and he's not going anywhere, I don't think. I guess we'll see. I think a lot of these guys are going to want to come back. And I think that depending on what kind of hometown discount they're willing to give, that's a possibility. I definitely think the Lions aren't going to overpay for anybody. That's not really the MO thus far.
That's not Brad's deal. All right, hey caller, we're gonna let you go. Thanks for helping out while I hit a bounce for a moment.
Hey, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for the optimism, huh?
Yeah, no, appreciate you, man. This is we're finally getting there. This is a great time to be a Lions fan, and we're gonna ride the off season with a very pleasured look on our face.
All right, thanks, guys.
Yes, sir.
All right,
thank you.
All right, they don't stop. Hey caller, what's your name? How much have you had to drink so far? Andy's just going to pull an all-nighter now, and he's going to hate me for it.
Hey, this is Bernie. I've had more than I should, what with work, in a few hours or so.
All right, brother. Let's tell you what we're going to do. We're going to rock through this because we got to get to work in the morning. So if you could make your biggest point, and we'll work with that. I think that's the best way to roll. I think for the rest of the callers.
Absolutely. I will skip ahead to part of why I've had too much is I had some during the Seahawks game. Yeah. And I thought we saw some of the officiating that we're used to seeing the Lions deal with during that game. It might be the most Lions thing I've ever seen, where we ended up getting hosed a couple of times and we weren't even playing. And I like what Sheila's done as an owner. But one thing I would love to see her do this offseason is use this as a launching point to launch some officiating reform for the league.
Oh, God, yeah.
Because this is getting ridiculous at a certain point. I don't know if you guys watched that game, but, I mean, even the announcers, Sanchez does not like the Lions. And even he was out here saying that it was a joke. And that's something we've seen a few times over the years. So I could take this off the air. I know you guys are trying to get to bed too. But at a certain point, we should have been there. The Rams had that game won. Yep. And they just got it taken away from them, and I feel bad for them.
I'll tell you, and I appreciate you. Thanks for working with us, brother. The thing, it's just like what happened in the Packers game today. And this is why it doesn't hurt me so much. Because you have to beat the refs in the other games too. How do you beat them? You should have beat the Seahawks. You should have made them punt just one time. Really, if you think back to that game, make the Seahawks punt once and you win that game. That's what we should have done. That was it. And it's a whole different outcome right now. It's on the Lions and they have to own it. And as we've seen, the better you get as a team, the better you play against the refs and the more things kind of go your way. And I am a real firm believer that I've seen the change. I've seen the difference. This isn't a picked up flag in Dallas that a team just collapsed afterward. This is a team that played through these items and won even despite them. And I think next year, again, after this kind of learning phase this year and what they went through this year to get to where they did to just miss, and then to watch the Seahawks get blown out, guarantee it. It's fine. This is fine. This is what's going to make a better team in the long term than so many of the teams that have rebuilt and popped and then gone away and started over again with the next rebuild, the next coach, the next whatever. This is a lot more long term, and you see it with Holmes. You see it with the belief from Sheila, as we talked about, and you see it with how Dan and the rest of the coaches have built this team out. This isn't just a one and done. This isn't we're grasping at anything we can get this year and hope for next year. We'll just see how it turns out. This is building a house, laying a foundation, putting up the framing, right, and so on, and building out. And pretty soon you have your HVAC team in there, and it's nice and cool inside, and you have your ping pong tables and everything else. But we have more than just framing for a long-term sort of a winning team. This is great. This is great. And this is built around Jared Goff today. And I think you looking at how he is and at his age, what is he, 28 now? He's cracked the 28 mark. You can get another 4 or 5 years out of this guy. And if he wants to stick around and do Brady land, you can get a lot more. I mean, this could be pretty impressive. And if you look at the type of quarterback that Jared Goff is, I don't want to say he's easy to replace, but he's a heck of a lot easier than like a Lamar Jackson if everything's built around Lamar, or a Mahomes kind of a player, to find your guy to make the next step. And that's one of the things that I like about how we're building this team. Again, much like our coaching piece, we put these guys out and, hey, we build them up so that they can go get promoted somewhere else. But it's not, to our detriment. It's not because we can't replace these people or find somebody or build up or grow with somebody a little bit different in the new place. I think it's top to bottom how this thing is. I love it. I love this kind of mentality and how they're doing it. Sandman, tell me I'm high.
No, I think I agree with you on almost all those points. I know, crazy. No, I think Jared Goff is the guy. And I think Brad Holmes knows that. And I think that Brad Holmes has had incredible drafts. And we can say without a shadow of a doubt now that this rookie class was the most impactful and arguably the best rookie class that the Lions have ever had.
Yeah.
It was an insane rookie class. They set the record for most sacks by rookies this year because everybody they drafted contributed to that.
19 and a half. 19 and a half sacks by rookies. NFL record. Hutch with 10 and a half, right? He was second on the Lions list. 9.5. Second on the Lions list. Either way, he won me money for beating 8.5. Set the records. He's second on the Lions records. I mean, beautiful.
Yeah, I think. But the biggest thing that Brad Holmes did was bring Jared Goff in. As crazy as that sounds, as many people that were, and me included, were like, well, they had to take Jared Goff because otherwise the Rams couldn't afford to do this trade.
Mm-hmm.
They had to take Goff off their books. So we all thought Goff was going to be here for a year, maybe 2, and then he's gone, and that's what makes sense. But Goff, one of the first things he said is, "It's nice to be wanted." When he came here, it's nice to be wanted. They wanted me here, and then Brad Holmes came out and said that Jared Goff being a part of this trade was a massive benefit to me. And one of the reasons I took this trade over the Carolina trade, for example.
Yep.
So all the people that really lauded the Carolina potential trade over this one and said that the Lions made a big mistake, I think that those people are all eating crow right now because you have to. Jared Goff played out of his mind. He played out of his mind.
Yeah.
And I think Brad Holmes knew what Jared Goff had. And I think that, he probably saw that, Goff and McVay, their time was over together, and it was never going to work. but that it could work somewhere else. And Jared Goff was the number 1 overall pick for a reason, and sometimes you just gotta let people blossom.
He's the better Cal Bear. I'll tell you that much. We saw it today. The Patriots game can't happen again, though. You know what? It can. And I'll tell you why. Because every great team has a shitty loss every season. It just happens. The Patriots do. Oh God, what was it? The Patriots? I was going to say the Chiefs do, but the Patriots lost to the Chiefs like what it was like 40-9 or something that year they won the Super Bowl. It was like 2015, whatever, somewhere around there. And Coach Belichick said, you know, I looked at the team after that and I said, nah, they played to the end. They hadn't given up. We have something here. And they turned around and won the Super Bowl. Teams that are good sometimes lose games they shouldn't. It happens. And what I think is one of the things we're going to have to get to as fans, not only get used to winning, which I think we're getting better at, but then getting used to losing once in a while, even though you win a lot, because that happens. And not throwing up your hands and saying the season's over. Oh my God, we lost to a crappy team. It happens, man. The freaking Texans won today. The Houston Texans won a game today. How in the heck?
Yep.
Right? I mean, it just happens, and that's okay. You can't do more than 2 of those a year, but those things happen. So I think the Patriots game this year and the Cincinnati game last year, those are the kind of games where you just didn't show up. The Carolina game this year is another one. You just were mismatched. You didn't show up. Your game plan was bad. It was a bad game. Those happen. You get 4 or 5
and the
losses
Lions
a year
had
that way.
those. Yeah, and the Lions had those against other teams. We did that to the Bears. We did that to the Jaguars, who are now in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We literally stomped the Jaguars.
Yeah.
And, you know, now they're in the playoffs, and they looked good after the stomping.
Yeah. Yeah. So there we go. The Detroit Lions walk out of Lambeau Field with a victory, and a real victory, a team victory against the refs, against the Packers, against Aaron Rodgers, potentially shut him out of the league. And hopefully, you know, we get all the benefits of that, of him being gone, and that true taking of the torch and moving to show the NFC North that we are number 1. We saw it with the Vikings. We split with them, but we could have beat them twice. We could have swept the NFC North this year. We're a team that's ready to pounce on a Vikings team who barely walked out with so many victories this year.
Super fluky season for them.
Fraudulent. But this is us. And what a great end of the year. What a great season. What a great turnaround. And what a great way to go. Sandman, it's late. It's almost 2, brother. I appreciate you staying on and doing this. I know you got to work in the morning too.
Absolutely.
Man, it was a gorgeous evening. I just want to say to everyone, thank you for following us and sticking with us all season. We've got you covered off in the off season. Like I said, Senior Bowl, the draft. We've got risen at the combine. We've got so much stuff going on right now. Tons of great stuff coming up for you guys. It's the end of the games. It's the end of the season, but it's the building of the team that's going to start winning the playoffs next year. That starts tomorrow, and we'll be there. We'll be there from day one. Remember, don't forget about us on Patreon, patreon.com/Detroit Lions Podcast, patreon.com/Detroit Lions Podcast. Especially in the off season, it's the most intelligent Lions chat on the internet. I am telling you, bar none, that little couple of bucks in the way makes for a barrier for the trolls and makes a great place to go. Toss it in. $5 a month gets you access to the Slack chat. It is the most intelligent Lions chat on the internet. Also follow us on Twitter at DET Lions Podcast, DET Lions Podcast, and Sandman7773, Sandman7773. Also check out his YouTube channel, because tonight you're going to see some slow lights rolling up and you're going to love them. Let's also give us a call on Skype, Detroit Lions Podcast, all one word, or call us on the Lions line at 248-782-8384, which is also 248-RUB-YOU-FUG. What else would it be? Be sure to go to DetroitLionsPodcast.com, subscribe to the podcast so we can. What do we do when you subscribe to the podcast?
Man, we do a lot of things, but the first thing we do is we come in your ears automatically.
Woof! Ooh, it sounds so dirty. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to see you next time on the Detroit Lions Podcast. Remember, no pants, no toasters, no hot tubs, no problems. And thank you. I mean it from the very, very bottom of my heart. Thank you for riding the season with us. Ride or die Lions, top to bottom. Sandman, thank you, brother, for this year. It's been a great year with you.
Absolutely.
I spent some great hours and times with you. I appreciate everything you've sacrificed to hang out with us knuckleheads. Thank you all. Remember, we're your Detroit Lions and Reddit Connection.